The change in Emma is subtle at first, like the soft shift of the seasons. I notice it on a Monday morning when she wakes me up with breakfast in bed, a gesture that's both delightful and unusual. The toast is perfectly golden, the eggs scrambled just right, and there's freshly squeezed orange juice, a touch she never used to bother with. I'm flattered, thinking perhaps she's simply feeling more affectionate. Days turn into weeks, and her attentiveness only grows. She listens with rapt attention to my stories, laughs at my jokes with genuine delight, and even surprises me with small, thoughtful gifts. It feels like the early days of our relationship all over again. I should be happy, ecstatic even, but something nags at the back of my mind. A tiny voice whispering that this newfound devotion is out of character. It's when she starts staying late at work almost every day that the unease begins to gnaw at me. Emma has always been dedicated to her job, but never to the point of sacrificing her evenings. She assures me it's a busy season, that her company is in the middle of a crucial project. I want to believe her, but the suspicion festers, growing with each passing day. One evening, curiosity gets the better of me. I decide to check her phone while she's in the shower, a violation of trust that makes me feel sick to my stomach. My hands tremble as I unlock it and scroll through her messages. Most are innocuous, mundane exchanges with colleagues and friends. Then I find them, the messages from a man named David. David, we need to be more careful, he's starting to notice. Emma, I know. I've been staying late at work to cover our tracks. I'm trying to placate him. David, good. Just make sure he doesn't suspect anything. A cold weight settles in my chest. I feel the room spin as I read and reread the messages, my heart shattering with each word. She's been lying to me, manipulating me to keep her affair hidden. When Emma emerges from the shower, she's humming a tune, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. I force a smile, my mind racing with thoughts of betrayal and vengeance. I can't confront her. Not yet. I need to be smart about this, to plan my next move carefully. The idea of getting back at her festers in my mind. If she can play this game, then so can I to begin with. I decide to gather evidence. I need proof of her infidelity, something irrefutable that she can't talk her way out of. Over the next few days, I start documenting everything. I take screenshots of the messages, noting the dates and times. I begin following her discreetly when she claims to be working late, snapping photos of her with David whenever I can. It's painful, each click of the camera like a stab to my heart, but I need to know the full extent of her betrayal. One Friday evening, I follow her to a cozy little restaurant on the other side of town. They sit in a corner booth, talking in hushed tones. David reaches across the table and takes her hand, and she smiles at him in a way she hasn't smiled at me in months. My blood boils, but I stay hidden, my camera capturing every moment. I don't just want to catch her. I want her to feel the same pain she's inflicted on me. As I drive home, an idea takes root in my mind, a way to turn the tables and make her understand the depth of her betrayal. When I get home, I start creating a fake online persona, a charming, attentive man who seems to have everything Emma could want. I join the same social media groups she frequents, post comments that would catch her interest, and wait for her to take the bait. It doesn't take long. Within days, she starts responding to my posts, and soon we're exchanging private messages. I feel a pang of guilt, but it's quickly overshadowed by my desire for revenge. I spend hours crafting each message, making sure to mirror the man she seems to be falling for. The more she opens up to this fictional man, the more I learn about her true feelings, her desires, and her justifications for what she's doing. It's intoxicating, this dance of deception. But it's also a double-edged sword. The more I engage with her, the more I realize how deep my love for her runs, and how much it hurts to see her betray me. One night, as she's texting me from across the room, I make my move. I arrange a meeting between Emma and my fake persona, choosing a place where I can confront her without causing a scene. When she leaves the house, I follow her, my heart pounding with anticipation and dread. As I sit in my car, waiting for the moment to reveal everything, I think about the future. I know that whatever happens next will change our lives forever. The betrayal, the lies, the revenge. They've all led to this point. And as I see her walk into the cafe, my resolve hardens. It's time for the truth to come out. The cafe buzzes with the lively hum of conversations, the clinking of cups, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. I sit in my car across the street, my heart pounding in my chest. Emma sits at a corner table, nervously glancing around, waiting for a man who doesn't exist. My phone buzzes. It's a message from her. Emma, I'm here. Where are you? I take a deep breath and type my response carefully. Call me as Mark running a bit late. Order yourself a coffee. I'll be there soon. I watch her from the car as she nods to herself, then gets up to order a drink. This is it. I step out of the car, steeling myself for what's about to happen. As I approach the cafe, I see a familiar face behind the counter. Sarah, an old friend of mine from college who now owns the place. She looks up and smiles warmly when she sees me. Hey Tom, long time no see. What brings you here? I force a smile. Hey Sarah, just meeting someone. How've you been? Good. Business is steady. We should catch up sometime, she says, handing over Emma's coffee. I nod, my mind elsewhere. Definitely. I'll take you up on that soon. I walk past the counter, my eyes fixed on Emma. She's back at the table, her phone in hand. I approach her from behind and tap her on the shoulder. She looks up, her eyes widening in surprise and confusion. Tom, what are you doing here? I sit down across from her, my expression stern. We need to talk, Emma. Her face pales, and she glances around nervously. What is this about? I lean forward, lowering my voice. I know about David. I know everything. The color drains from her face completely, and she stares at me, speechless. I take out my phone and show her the screenshots of her messages with David, the photos I've taken. She gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. How? How did you? It doesn't matter how, I say coldly. What matters is why. Why, Emma? Why did you do this to us? Tears well up in her eyes, and she looks away, unable to meet my gaze. Tom, I didn't mean for this to happen. It just did. That's not good enough. I snap. You've been lying to me, manipulating me. All those nights you said you were working late, you were with him. How long has this been going on? She takes a shaky breath. A few months. But it's not what you think. David and I. It's complicated. Complicated. I scoff. You're having an affair, Emma. That's not complicated. That's betrayal. She reaches out to touch my hand, but I pull away. Tom, please, let me explain. Before she can continue, the door to the cafe swings open and David walks in. He spots us immediately, his face contorting with shock and panic. He strides over, his expression hardening. What's going on here? David demands. This is between Emma and me, I say, standing up to face him. You have no business being here. Emma stands as well, placing herself between us. David, please, just go. No, David says firmly. If he knows, then he deserves to hear the truth. I glare at him, my fists clenching. The truth? You mean the lies you've been feeding my wife? David squares his shoulders. Emma and I are in love, Tom. We didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. You deserve better than a lie. Love. I laugh bitterly. Is that what you call sneaking around behind my back? The cafe falls silent as other patrons begin to notice the confrontation. Sarah looks over from the counter, concern etched on her face. I ignore the curious stares and focus on the two people who have torn my life apart. You think you can just come in here and confess your so-called love, and everything will be fine. I say, my voice shaking with anger. Emma steps forward, her eyes pleading. Tom, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. You should have thought of that before you started this affair, I retort. But it's too late now. You've made your choices, and now you have to live with the consequences. Sarah approaches cautiously, her voice gentle. Is everything all right over here? I take a deep breath, trying to calm the storm raging inside me. No, Sarah, everything is far from all right. Emma's tears flow freely now, and David looks at me with a mixture of guilt and defiance. I turn to Sarah, my voice strained. I'm sorry about this, Sarah. We'll leave. She nods, understanding. Take care, Tom. Call me if you need anything. I walk out of the cafe, not looking back. Emma and David follow. But I keep my distance. The betrayal cuts deep, and the pain is almost unbearable. As I reach my car, I turn to face them one last time. This is over, I say, my voice hollow. You've made your bed. Now lie in it. Without waiting for a response, I get into my car and drive away. The road blurs before me as I try to process everything that's happened. My mind races with thoughts of revenge, justice, and the shattered pieces of my heart. But I know this is just the beginning. The confrontation is over, but the fallout is yet to come. I need to figure out my next steps, to rebuild my life from the wreckage they've left behind. And I will. One step at a time. I will rise from this betrayal, stronger and more determined than ever. But for now, I need to let the pain wash over me, to feel every bit of the heartbreak. As I drive endlessly through the city, my phone buzzes with a new message. It's from Sarah. Sarah, if you need a friend, I'm here. Don't go through this alone. I grip the steering wheel tightly, the warmth of her words a small comfort in the cold reality of my situation. Maybe I don't have to go through this alone. Maybe, just maybe, there's a way to find solace amidst the chaos. But for now, all I can do is drive and let the road take me wherever it will, knowing that my life has changed forever. The city lights blur past as I drive aimlessly, my mind a storm of thoughts and emotions. Emma's betrayal cuts deep, and every passing moment feels like a wound that refuses to heal. I find myself parked in front of a familiar apartment building. Sarah's place. Her message from earlier echoes in my mind, a lifeline in the sea of chaos. Taking a deep breath, I decide to reach out. I text her, my fingers trembling. Me, Sarah, are you free to talk? The response is immediate. Sarah, of course. Come up. I walk up to her apartment, each step feeling heavier than the last. When I reach her door, it swings open before I can knock. Sarah stands there, her expression a mix of concern and empathy. Hey, Tom, she says softly, stepping aside to let me in. Come on in. Her apartment is warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the turmoil inside me. I sit on the couch, and she joins me, her eyes searching mine. What happened back there? She asks gently. I take a deep breath and start from the beginning, recounting everything. The messages, the affair, the confrontation at the cafe. Sarah listens intently, not interrupting, just letting me pour out the pain and anger. When I finish, she leans back, a thoughtful look on her face. That's a lot to process, Tom. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Thanks, Sarah. I say, my voice barely a whisper. I don't know what to do next. I feel lost. She reaches out and takes my hand, a comforting gesture that sends a wave of warmth through me. You're not alone, Tom. You have friends who care about you. We'll figure this out together. For the first time since discovering the affair, I feel a glimmer of hope. Sarah's support is a beacon in the darkness, and I cling to it desperately. Do you want to stay here tonight? She offers. I have a spare room. You shouldn't be alone right now. I nod, grateful for her kindness. Thank you, Sarah. I think I'll take you up on that. The next morning, I wake up feeling slightly more grounded. Sarah makes breakfast, and we eat in companionable silence. Afterward, we sit down to discuss the next steps. You need to talk to a lawyer, Sarah says, her tone practical. Find out your options, and maybe see a therapist. This is a lot to handle on your own. I nod, knowing she's right. I'll start with the lawyer. Do you know anyone? Sarah smiles. Actually, I do. A good friend of mine, Michael. He's excellent. I'll give him a call and set up an appointment for you. Within an hour, I have an appointment with Michael for the next day. I spend the rest of the day at Sarah's, trying to keep my mind occupied. We watch movies, talk about old times, and for a little while, I almost forget about the pain. The following day, I meet Michael at his office. He's a sharp-looking man in his early 40s, with a calm demeanor that immediately puts me at ease. Tom, Sarah's told me a bit about your situation, he says, gesturing for me to sit. Why don't you tell me everything, and we'll go from there. I recount the events once more, and Michael listens attentively, taking notes. This is a tough situation, he says finally, but you have options. The first step is to document everything. You've already started, which is good. Keep any evidence you have of the affair. It'll help if this goes to court. What about the house? Our finances? I ask, the reality of the situation sinking in. Michael nods. We'll get to that. Right now, focus on gathering evidence and taking care of yourself. I'll handle the legal side. As I leave Michael's office, I feel a small weight lift off my shoulders. Having a plan, a direction, makes the chaos seem more manageable. Over the next few days, I throw myself into documenting everything. I gather messages, photos, any proof of Emma's infidelity. Sarah continues to be my rock, offering support and a place to stay. Each day gets a little easier, the pain a bit more bearable. One evening, while Sarah and I are having dinner, my phone buzzes with a message. It's Emma. Emma, we need to talk. Please, Tom. I show the message to Sarah, who looks at me thoughtfully. What do you want to do? I don't know, I admit. Part of me wants to hear her out, but another part of me doesn't want anything to do with her. Sarah nods. It's up to you, Tom. But remember, whatever she says, it doesn't change what she did. I decide to meet Emma, needing closure, if nothing else. We agree to meet at a park nearby, a neutral ground. When I arrive, she's already there, sitting on a bench, looking lost and forlorn. Tom, she says as I approach, her voice trembling. Thank you for meeting me. I sit down beside her, keeping a distance. What do you want, Emma? She takes a deep breath, tears welling up in her eyes. I'm so sorry, Tom, for everything. I never meant to hurt you. You did, though, I say quietly. You hurt me more than I ever thought possible. I know, she whispers, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But I need you to understand it wasn't just about the affair. I was unhappy, and I didn't know how to tell you. I know that doesn't excuse what I did, but I wanted you to know. Her words hang in the air, and I feel a mix of anger and sadness. You should have talked to me, Emma. We could have worked through it. Instead, you chose to betray me. She nods, tears streaming down her face. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We sit in silence for a while, the weight of her words sinking in. Finally, I stand up. I need time, Emma, to figure out what I want, what comes next. But for now, I need space. She nods, wiping her tears. I understand. Take all the time you need. I walk away, feeling a strange sense of relief. The conversation, though painful, has given me some semblance of closure. I return to Sarah's place, my mind clearer, my heart a little lighter. As the days turn into weeks, I focus on rebuilding my life. Michael handles the legal aspects, and I start seeing a therapist to work through the emotional fallout. Sarah continues to be my steadfast support, and slowly I begin to see a path forward. One evening, Sarah and I are sitting on her balcony, watching the sunset. She turns to me, a small smile playing on her lips. You're stronger than you think, Tom, she says softly. You're going to get through this. I smile back, feeling a warmth I haven't felt in a long time. Thanks, Sarah. I couldn't have done it without you. As the sun sets, casting a golden glow over the city, I feel a sense of hope for the first time in months. The road ahead is still uncertain, but with friends like Sarah by my side, I know I can face whatever comes next. Weeks turn into months, and life begins to stabilize. I continue to stay at Sarah's place, and our friendship deepens. She becomes my confidant, my rock, and the one person who keeps me grounded. The legal proceedings move forward, and Michael assures me that things are progressing smoothly. I start to see a therapist regularly, which helps me process the emotions that have been swirling inside me since discovering Emma's betrayal. One day, as I'm sorting through some old files, I find a letter tucked away in a drawer. It's from Emma, dated just before the affair began. My hands tremble as I open it, wondering what more there could be to discover. Dear Tom, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't find the courage to tell you in person. There's something you need to know, something I've been hiding from you. It's about our finances. I made a bad investment and lost a significant amount of our savings. I've been trying to fix it on my own, but it's spiraling out of control. I'm so sorry, Tom. I didn't know how to tell you, and I didn't want you to think less of me. Love, Emma. The revelation hits me like a punch to the gut. Emma's secret isn't just about the affair. It's about our financial ruin. The weight of her actions crushes me, but it also gives me a strange sense of clarity. I need to confront her about this, to understand the full extent of what's happened. I call her, and we agree to meet at a nearby park. When I arrive, she's already there, sitting on a bench, looking more tired and worn than I've ever seen her. Tom, she says as I approach, her voice shaky. Thank you for meeting me. I sit down beside her, the letter clutched in my hand. I found your letter, Emma, about the investment. Her eyes widen, and she nods slowly. I was going to tell you, but then everything got so complicated with David and... Why didn't you tell me? I interrupt, the hurt and anger clear in my voice. We could have worked through it together. I was scared, she admits, tears filling her eyes. I was so scared of losing you, of you thinking I was a failure. And then David came along, and it was like an escape, a way to forget about the mess I'd made. The pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place, and I feel a strange mixture of pity and anger. You should have trusted me, Emma. We could have faced it together. She nods, her tears flowing freely now. I know, and I'm sorry for everything. We sit in silence for a while, the weight of our shared past hanging heavily between us. Finally, I stand up, feeling a sense of resolution. I need to move on, Emma. We both do. I hope you find the peace you're looking for. She nods, wiping her tears. I wish you all the best, Tom. You deserve happiness. As I walk away, I feel a sense of closure. The conversation, though painful, has given me the clarity I needed. I return to Sarah's place, my mind made up about the future. One evening, Sarah and I are sitting on her balcony, watching the sunset. She turns to me, a small smile playing on her lips. Tom, I've been thinking, she says softly, about us. I look at her, my heart skipping a beat. What about us? She takes a deep breath. We've been through a lot together, and I've realized how much you mean to me. I don't want to be just your friend. I want more. Her words catch me off guard, and I feel a rush of emotions. Sarah, I care about you a lot too. But are you sure? After everything that's happened? She nods, her eyes filled with determination. Yes, I'm sure. We've both been through hell, and we've come out stronger. I think we could be great together. I smile, feeling a warmth spread through me. I think so too. We lean in, our lips meeting in a gentle kiss, a promise of new beginnings and better days ahead. As the sun sets, casting a golden glow over the city, I feel a sense of hope and excitement for the future. Months pass, and Sarah and I grow closer, our relationship blossoming. The legal proceedings with Emma are finalized, and I start to rebuild my life. One day, while cleaning out the last of my things from the house, I find another letter, this one from David. Dear Tom, if you're reading this, it means Emma told you about the affair. I need you to know that it wasn't just about the investment or the financial trouble. Emma and I fell in love, and we didn't know how to handle it. We didn't mean to hurt you, but we did, and for that, I'm truly sorry. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive us one day. Sincerely, David. The letter stirs a mix of emotions, but mostly, it makes me realize how much I've moved on. I no longer feel the anger or the pain as sharply as before. Instead, I feel a sense of acceptance and a readiness to embrace the future. As I walk out of the house for the last time, I look back and feel a sense of closure. This chapter of my life is over, and I'm ready to start anew with Sarah by my side. One evening, as Sarah and I sit on her balcony, she turns to me, her eyes shining with happiness. Tom, I have something to tell you, she says, her voice filled with excitement. What is it? I ask, curious. I'm pregnant, she says, her smile widening. A wave of joy washes over me, and I pull her into a tight embrace. That's amazing, Sarah. I can't wait to start this new journey with you. As we sit together, watching the sunset and dreaming about the future, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. Despite the pain and the heartbreak, I found happiness again, and with Sarah and our future child, I know that the best is yet to come. Thanks to everyone who took the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share your thoughts on the events in the comments below. Take care.